Hello, my name is Josh McKee, and I'm checking in for my second video discussion board forum here at Liberty University, and we are presented with the following discussion board prompt. Vietnam has not existed as a nation-state. Its borders were drawn by colonial administrators, and therefore attempting to fight for the freedom of this nation is a problematic venture. Do you agree with this statement? Well, I do agree with this statement. And I agree with the statement primarily because I believe that entering into Vietnam was a risky venture because we did not understand the nature of Vietnam. We did not understand Vietnam. We did not understand what motivated the Vietnamese people. This is due in part to the Western view of geography. In the West, we tend to overemphasize boundaries. And in this case, especially with Vietnam, we did not take cultural differences into account. So on the map, Vietnam is one nation. But in reality, Vietnam is several nation-states, several different nation-states. And that's what we learned in our Module Week 5 presentation. And another thing is, we believe the lie of homogeny. We believe that Vietnam was the same as Korea, where in Korea you have a homogeneous people and a unified people, and only slightly divided due to different political differences, mainly because of influences from other countries. But in Vietnam, you have several different nation-states, and this is due in part to the many different natural boundaries that exist within Vietnam that tend to isolate certain tribal factions from others. But the other key ingredient of the motivation of the Vietnamese people that we did not understand is that when foreigners invade or intervene, the Vietnamese people unite. And this is something that we learned the hard way. And also, if you look at the history of the Vietnam War, history will tell you that we did not do things right. We made some mistakes. And the mistakes of the past have shown us that something went wrong and that something could have been done differently. Now, I think it's important for me to clarify that I do not believe it is a mistake to fight for freedom, but I do believe that it is a mistake to fight a war of ambiguity. And you have a war of ambiguity when political directives are supreme over military tactics. And basically, you're fighting a war that is nonsensical. You're fighting a war without the application of common sense. And also, I believe that we're supposed to take biblical principles into account when making decisions. We're supposed to walk circumspectly, like Ephesians 5:15 says. Also, Jesus stated that if you're trying to build a tower, you have to count the cost before you build it. That's in Luke 14:28. And actually, I want to read you a passage, the following verse after that, in Luke 14:34. I think it's very fitting here. Jesus is saying, "Or what king, going to make war against another king, sitteth down first, and consulteth whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? So basically what that verse is saying is that before you fight a war, you have to know your enemy. And that is one thing that we learned the hard way too. We didn't really understand our enemy. And we didn't really know our enemy. And this is because we were fighting a political war. When a war is reduced to political directives, the application of intelligence is also reduced. A great example of that is the Ho Chi Minh Trail. We knew it was there, but for political reasons, we couldn't fully eliminate it. And of course, I don't want to take away from the sacrifice of the tens of thousands of people that gave their lives for our country, especially in the Vietnam War. Of course, I hate how they were treated. Of course, you read back, or you can even watch videos of when soldiers were coming home and they're getting spit on. I think it's sad that that would happen. And I think it's sick that people would let things like that, or let their opinions override feelings for fellow human beings. So anyways, my grandpa also served in the Vietnam War. But I believe that before you fight a war, before you send people to die, you have to understand what you're getting into. So, thank you for watching my presentation, and may God bless you according to His will. Goodbye.